Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean, and I want to talk about Errol Spence in this video. I'm going to start off with the fight from last night, Lamont Peterson fight. Very, very impressive performance. Dominated the fight from start to finish. I thought he would. I mean, I picked Spence to win, but I thought he was going to knock him out in the 8th round. I thought he was going to dominate. Lamont Peterson's corner obviously pulled him out at the end of the 7th. Good move by them, because I could tell that Lamont Peterson didn't want to be in there at that point. He obviously doesn't want to quit, but he was quite relieved, I think, that they made that decision for him. You could see in his eyes that he didn't want to be in there anymore, and even the tone in his voice, he just looked like a beaten man to me. Now, no one expected him to win going into it. I didn't see a single prediction video where anyone picked him to win. So, you know, he went in there, he was overmatched, and he lost to the better man on the night. There's no shame in that. He put in as good a performance as he possibly could. I mean, I expected him to use his legs a bit more and use his footwork and try and fight on the back foot a little bit. He didn't do that for some reason, but I don't think it would have made much difference. I think it was only a matter of time. I mean, Errol Spence beat him at range, beat him on the inside. He was a harder puncher, stronger, physically stronger, fresher. As I said in my prediction, more desire, more will to win, in my opinion. So yeah, it went pretty much as everyone expected. Errol Spence started in the first round. I mean, with the jab, like he just starts basically breaking you down very early. I mean, yeah, he's not just going to steam in and just start swinging haymakers, but he'll come in behind that jab. It's a powerful jab, and he just puts pressure on you. Now, he reminds me a lot of Golovkin in this sense, that he's just a very intimidating presence in the ring. He's just constantly there at a range that makes you feel uncomfortable, and he's hitting you with power shots, and you're just constantly on edge. There's a threat. Physical pressure, mental pressure. He'll just come in, bang, get you that jab. He's got good range with it as well. Quick feet, so he can move in and out, and boom, just hit you with a hard jab. Very effective against Kell Brook, who's himself got a very good jab. Lamont Peterson, you saw the state of his face at the end of it. He was just busting him up with him jab, then suddenly, bang, and just get you that straight left to the body. Beautifully timed, powerful, accurate. And he'll just sort of just keep that coming at you, and it just, even like after a round, you can see Peterson was like, you know what I mean? I'm in for a fight here. He's just on me, constantly hitting me with them, and you try and like cover up, put your guard up, and he'll just get you with these big hooks around the side. I mean, come around your guard with them. He'll get you on the inside, rough you up, bash you up, like ripping hooks and uppercuts to the body. So it's just constant pressure, constant breaking you down. Mentally just putting you on the back foot, intimidating you. Lamont Peterson was just overmatched, and he just took a beating in there. Errol Spence, he's very, very good from range, and he's obviously very, very good on the inside. Now, a lot is made of his body work and how he can get in there and just really wear you down, but a lot of that comes from range as well. Like that straight left that he does to the body, it really does like wear you down, and he's got a very, very good long range game. He actually showed as well in the I think it was the 7th round, pretty quick feet, because normally you see he's like plants his feet and he sort of, it's a slow, not slow, it's not, but it's not like, it's not twinkle toes, you know what I mean? He's not jumping about. He's kind of coming forward with his feet planted, and he's hitting you with power shots. Now in the 7th round, he was kind of almost dancing around a little bit on the front foot, on his toes, showing some good agility, showing that when he wants to, he can move around that ring quicker than he does when he's just coming forward with that advanced, well covered, hitting you with those power shots. So, very, very good performance. I didn't think Lamont Peterson could have done anything, and I think he did the best he could. Now, in terms of the other welterweights in the division, what challenges are for him, I mean, I'll be interested to see him against, obviously Crawford. That'll be a very interesting one that comes up. I want to see Crawford fight someone. He's going to fight Jeff Horn, but that's going to be very, very interesting to see. Keith Thurman, I'd like to see that fight, obviously. Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. These are 4 fights that I would like to see. Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman is the most accomplished welterweight, and some people saying that he's the number one. I can understand. I can respect that way of looking at it because he's, you know, got 2 belts. He's got a better body of work, so to speak. You know, but for me, Errol Spence has got more quality work. Do you know what I mean? If you look at Keith Thurman's best wins, he beat Sean Porter, which could really have been a draw. To be honest, it could have gone either way. That was a very, very close fight. Same Sean Porter, who wants nothing to do with Errol Spence, got no interest in trying to win that IBF belt back. When Spence went over to England, done his dirty work for him. About a belt that he didn't want to get back off Kell Brook. He didn't want to get it. Now he doesn't want to get it back off Errol Spence, a guy who was convincingly beaten by Kell Brook in America. Now people tried to say that was a close fight. I got no idea what they were watching. That was a very, very dominant performance by Kell Brook. That's, most people consider Keith Thurman's best win. A very, very close fight with Sean Porter. Danny Garcia. Now Danny Garcia, that was a good win. Don't get me wrong. That he clearly won the fight. As I predicted, I just thought his feet are too quick for Danny Garcia, but it wasn't that convincing. Do you know what I mean? And is Danny Garcia really a better opponent than Lamont Peterson? I mean, you can argue, maybe, possibly, probably is. I mean, give or take. But 12-round decision against Danny Garcia, when for the last part of that fight he was pretty much on the back foot. He got banked all the early rounds. You know, I mean, and he's beaten some good people like Diego Chavez, Robert Guerrero. He's got like a decent body of work, Keith Thurman, and I respect what he's done. But he hasn't done anything like, he hasn't gone to England to beat Kell Brook in Sheffield. He doesn't have a win that's anywhere near as good as that, in my opinion. I don't think he would have beaten Kell Brook. Definitely not in Sheffield. Now, people are going to say that Kell Brook was coming off a loss. He was coming back down in weight. Well, I mean, first of all, that's not Errol Spence's fault, is it? He got himself mandatory to become, mandatory for the IBF title. You know, he didn't ask Kell Brook to go up in weight and fight Gennady Golovkin. He didn't ask the other welterweight champions to avoid Kell Brook and not want to fight him, so he had to do that. So he went and did what he had to do. And in any case, Kell Brook was good in that fight. I think if that had been Keith Thurman in there, Kell Brook would have beaten him. So, I mean, I don't think Keith Thurman would have taken the fight in the first place, to be honest with you. But, it is what it is. So that, for me, is he's proven that he's the number one to me. Now, people want to argue that he doesn't have as many belts. Fine, that's people's opinion. But for me, Errol Spence is clearly the number one at welterweight right now. In terms of how that fight would go, Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, I'd like to see it. I can't see Keith Thurman lasting 12 rounds. I think he's dangerous. I don't think he's as physically strong as Kell Brook. I don't think he's a harder puncher as such. But one thing he is he's very agile in terms of his movement, and he throws haymakers. So he's quite wild. He reminds me a little bit of David Haye. He's got that David Haye sort of style. Not completely, but in the sense of, he's moving around a lot. He's trying to get you off balance, and then he'll swing like big punches. So that's dangerous. So even though he might not necessarily hit harder than Kell Brook, he throws bigger, wilder punches. So if you get caught on one of the end of them, that could be problematic. And he's very quick on his feet. Having said that, I still don't see Keith Thurman beating Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence would just break him down and take him out easier than he did Kell Brook, but harder than he did Lamont Peterson. Now, one thing I would say, Errol Spence does look a little bit, I wouldn't say vulnerable, but if he does have something that you look at and you think, yeah, you could improve that a little bit, mate. When he's moving back, he's sort of, if you kind of push, if you back him up, sometimes he kind of sticks his head up and he doesn't really look that composed when he's being pushed back. When he's coming forward, his defence is pretty tight. You know what I mean? He'll cover himself up, hit you with one, and he looks defensively solid. When he's getting pushed back, like you saw, like Peterson caught him a few times. Now, obviously, he doesn't have as much respect for Peterson's power as he would have for someone like Thurman. but still, he is there to be hit. And if you can push him back, then I think potentially there are a few gaps in his defence. Is Thurman going to be able to push him back? Is he going to try and push him back? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Now, if that fight does get made, or when it gets made, I'm sure it will, then obviously break it down in more detail. But I'll take Errol Spence in that fight all day long. Sean Porter. Now, Sean Porter, I mean, I saw Sean Porter like trying to have a go at Danny Garcia, calling him like saying he's like ducking him and this, that, and the other. Why is he trying to fight Danny Garcia, who's coming off a loss, who doesn't have a belt, and he's trying to fight him, who's come up from, light welterweight. Most people consider him the weakest link out of the sort of elite fighters. Why is he trying to fight him and not Errol Spence, who, as I said earlier, went over to the UK, did his dirty work for him, something that he never would have tried to do, and beat Kell Brook in England and bring that belt back? Why isn't he trying to fight him? I mean, I don't know. Personally, Sean Porter's been in a load of fights. He's given us some tough fights, given us some good fights, and he's proven himself in that respect. So if it wasn't for the fact that he was trying to have a go at Danny Garcia and the hypocrisy of it, I probably wouldn't say anything. But, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That fight will be interesting to see. Sean Porter's a handful for anyone. Do you know what I mean? He's not the most technically gifted fighter in the world, but he's big, strong, tough, and he's coming forward relentlessly. So it'd be a very interesting style to see Errol Spence deal with. I don't think he's not as strong physically as Kell Brook, but he's much more aggressive. He's got a very, very good chin, as we saw in the Keith Thurman fight and Kell Brook fight. Keith Thurman fight especially, took some fucking big swings in that. That style of just relentlessly coming forward. It'd be interesting to see him break someone like that down. Because, I mean, his stamina is unreal, Sean Porter, and he keeps coming. I think, like we saw in the Kell Brook fight, he got pushed onto the back, he got disheartened, pushed back a little bit. I think Spence would do that to him, to be honest. I think it would start off, he'd give a few rounds like that, but then once he started getting hit hard, accurately, consistently, I think we'd see a shift in momentum. Still, it'd be interesting to see. Again, definitely be picking Spence, but that's a fight that I'd be interested in seeing. Now, I actually think Danny Garcia would possibly be the most interesting fight against Errol Spence, stylistically. Now, Danny Garcia is smaller, naturally. He's not as powerful, not as strong, but he is still pretty strong. He is still powerful, and he's as tough as old boots. Again, in the Keith Thurman fight, you saw Keith Thurman hit him with some serious punches. You just couldn't move him, didn't put a dent in him. So, Danny Garcia is someone who stands there and he'll hold his feet and he'll trade hooks with you. Now, I think that the best tactic from Errol Spence, where Errol Spence wouldn't have any problems with Danny Garcia, is fighting him from range. With that jab, that straight left hand, cuffing hooks around the guard. And he could beat up Danny Garcia like that pretty easily. But I think on the inside, that would actually be pretty interesting to me, because I'd be interested to see how, if Danny Garcia, because so far he's managed to like really mix it up with everyone like that, with those hooks, body shot. He's got a very, very good chin. Errol Spence can get hit, and he can, as I said before, like kind of lean back a little bit with his head and expose himself. So I think that would actually be quite. I mean, I'd pick him to win, but that could be quite a problematic matchup for him, and I wouldn't be 100% sure that he would come off best in those exchanges. Now, I think he would. I think he's bigger, he's stronger, but I don't know if he's as tough as Danny Garcia. And I think if he gets caught, like Danny Garcia, he swings those big hooks, gets to the body, boom, comes over the top with a left hook. If he caught Errol Spence with some of them when he's sort of leaning back, that could be interesting to see. So, yeah. In terms of Terence Crawford, Jeff Horn, obviously, not going to write him off, but I do expect Terence Crawford to beat him. Jeff Horn would be another good fight for him. I mean, he's big, solid, better than people give him credit for. I think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence is going to be the fight to decide who's the top boy at welterweight for too long. I like Thurman, I think he's good, but I don't think he's as good as those two. And I'm going to have to see how Terence Crawford looks against Jeff Horn. But as of right now, I've got Errol Spence as the #1 welterweight in the world by a long way. I think he's very, very good. And yeah, I don't see anyone really, apart from possibly Terence Crawford, beating him anytime soon. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.